ships that are ambiguous or you just don't know, like, not for me. But that's the thing. I was so sure Byler was gonna happen. I was like, oh, I don't have to worry about that. It's gonna be canon. It's gonna happen, right? The Stranger Things fandom, I think this is more specifically about the Byler fandom, and maybe a little bit of the Stranger Things fandom. You might have seen a lot of videos going around about conformity gate, and I think that was quite trending, like almost everyone knew about this eventually. But that's not what I'm talking about today, okay? What I'm talking about today is mostly the mass Byler psychosis of 2025 and mass Byler canon. There's a lot of things I'm going to talk about, okay? I'm going to try to split it up in 3 parts, okay? Because this is from my POV, okay? So it might be very different from someone else's POV. This is how I interpret this story. Someone else might have something different to say. But, so yeah, before I get into it, let me start by saying I don't use Twitter. I never use Twitter up until, I think, somewhere in December. I decided that, like, you know what? I need to get on Twitter for my mental health, and that was probably on the 25, on Christmas Day. If you know, you know. If you don't know yet, you're gonna know why throughout this story. But yeah, so on the 25, I was like, I'm gonna get on Twitter. So I'm someone who doesn't really use Twitter. I didn't like Twitter. It was kind of a toxic place, and it still is. But it was fun for a while for me, okay? I don't even know where to start. This experience is funny as hell. It's funny. So if you're not aware, if you're not a Stranger Things fan, why are you here? If you're not a Byler shipper, I'm sorry for your loss. But listen, it doesn't matter. It's just a funny story, okay? Let's not have a ship war in the comments. If anybody's here to fight, don't fight. No fighting, please. I'm just telling you a story, okay? So let's just start. There's gonna be 3 parts. There's gonna be the whole month that happened after volume 1. That's the first part. Second part will be the night of Christmas Day. It was on the 25 it came out, right? Yes. The night of the 25. And then the next part, the third part, will be the night of the 31st. Oh my god. The day that volume 1 came out, that was, I think, November 26th. I should fact check, I guess. I don't know why I wouldn't. I'm literally in front of a computer. Yes, it was November 26th. Okay, it was right. So yes, the volume 1 of season 5 came out on November 26th. Great time for everybody, I'm pretty sure. I was not yet on Twitter, but I was on TikTok at the time. So as soon as I finished watching the 4 episodes, I headed to TikTok. It was great over there. If you were a Byler shipper, it was a great time. I'm not too sure how it was for just Stranger Things fans. I think from what I've seen around, I think it was a great time for Stranger Things fans too. Yes, it was. I'm remembering now. There was a lot of people sharing their reactions to Will getting powers, and everybody was just so hyped. It was a great time, I think, for everybody in the fandom. In the Stranger Things fandom, Stranger Things fans, and casual viewers. It was a great time. Volume 1 was awesome sauce. At least that was what everybody's first impression was. At the time, that's how we all felt. And specifically as a Byler fan, I literally got into Byler the day before. The day before it came out. Like, I was a big fan of Stranger Things. I think I watched it for the first time when season 3 came out in 2019. I watched 3 seasons. All 3 seasons in, like, less than 2 days. It was a little scary, a little crazy. It was a crazy time, but yeah, I watched all of it. Loved it so much. It was one of my favorite shows then and there. Loved it so much. And I used to be a Malevolent shipper. I was like, these guys are cute. I want them to be happy. Like, I was happy with them. Okay, I did not know what Byler was. I think I found out about Byler after watching season 4. Maybe. I think, like, I only found out not because of the internet, but because of my own clockness. Is that a word? No, but I had clocked it a little bit. I was like, what's going on? What's going on here? Wait a minute. Is this gonna be something? It's suspicious. But I never thought it would actually be a thing. because I was like, this is one of the most popular show in the world. Mike is like the main character. He's already with 11. I highly doubt that this would be a thing. But I was like, this is sus behavior. What's going on? But I never thought it would be a thing. And I didn't know that people were shipping these two like crazy. I did not know that. So, anyways, after I think season 4 came out in 2022, after that season, I kind of was like, okay, I'm logged off Stranger Things fandom. I had never been like into the fandom like on the internet before for Stranger Things. I was just like a casual viewer, I guess, but a big fan. But yeah, after that, after season 4 came out, I just like, put it in the back of my brain. Thank God I did that because I'm impatient. And there's no way I could have been in the fandom, like hardcore into the fandom for like 5 years or how long? 4 years it took. And like wait 4 years. Like I would have been miserable. So I'm glad that I like forgot about it until like we heard season 5 was coming out very soon. Like I think there was a trailer in the summer or something for season 5. So when I heard about that, I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, I can't wait. And literally, like I was saying, I went on this whole rant here, sorry, but I was saying that I only found out about Byler the day before Volume 1 came out. So, like, on the 25th of November. I was scrolling on TikTok. I had seen the trailers on YouTube of season 5 coming out. Like, I knew it was coming out. I was excited. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. No big deal. Like, I didn't really care. I was like, yeah, no big deal. I'm watching it. I've watched the show before. Obviously, I'm gonna continue it. And then I got one edit of Byler. I guess it was probably season 4 Byler or something. And I was like, oh, shoot. This has a lot of likes. People really like this. Let me, like, look into it. I look into it. I'm obsessed. I'm like, wait a minute. Are they actually going to happen? Is Byler going to be canon? Wait, I think it might be. This is looking like it might be. And I love gay people. So obviously I'm going to cheer for the gay ship no matter what. Okay? I love the gays. I love the gays. I will always prioritize the gay ships. I'm sorry. We don't have enough. Okay, we need more. So, I also have a theory that heated rivalry came out at the time it did for the heartbreak that Byler fans had to go through. But anyways, you didn't hear that from me. I'm just kidding. Well, it might be true. I don't think so. But it was divine intervention. That's what it was. But anyways, okay. Let me put on lipstick because, whoo, my lips are chapped! Where was I at? Oh, yes. So on TikTok, people was like, okay, people love this. So I studied on the night of the 25th of November. I studied Byler, you could say. I watched like so many videos. I had watched compilations of all Byler moments. So I had seen everything from like the 4 seasons we have of Byler. Everything. Everything. I was basically a full-fledged veteran. A Byler veteran in one day. Okay? Maybe I'm exaggerating. I didn't have the emotional impact, the emotional weight of actually being a Byler veteran, but I had the knowledge, okay? I knew what I needed to know. I was quite knowledgeable. But I wasn't big into the leak stuff, okay? I didn't know about the leaked footage, people who were like always on Twitter looking for like leaks for Stranger Things for Byler proof. Like I did not know about that. I just knew about what we were given in the show. That's where I based off my theory, or I thought, oh yeah, Byler's gonna happen because of what we saw in the show. That's how I thought Byler was gonna happen. And then I got, throughout the month of December, after watching Volume 1, then I got into all the leaked stuff people were talking about. I was like, oh yeah, it's really looking like that's gonna happen. So, but before that, I just thought Byler was gonna happen just based off the first 4 seasons. And what I had seen and what people were saying about it too, because I'm not a very knowledgeable person when it comes to movies and stuff and theories. Like I'm not that good. I'm getting better, but like I'm just taking things at face value most of the time. But when people are like break down things and theories and it all makes sense, it's like whoa, yes, you're smart and I believe you. Okay, that was me. Okay, so I learned about Byler and I'm hardcore deep into the Byler fandom a day before Volume 1 comes out. A day before Volume 1 comes out, I'm a fan. Volume 1 comes out, I watch all of it. And I think my personal first impression after seeing it, before looking at the internet, before getting another opinion, my opinion, what I thought when I first saw it was like, is it really gonna happen? I don't know. I was having doubts, I guess you could say. I thought we were good. I thought we would get more, because if Byler's gonna be canon, for sure. Like, I thought we would get something a little bit more clear indicating it in the first volume, but we did get things. But I didn't clock that at first watch. I only clocked it once people told it their theories and stuff. So at first I was like, okay. I mean, maybe it'll be later, but I found it a little weird. Found it a little weird. But then, yeah, the month of December was just absolute bliss. Absolute, just joy for Byler fans. Everyone was like, yeah, it's happening. Oh, yeah, it's happening. It's so happening. We are so winning. And so I believed it too. I was like, hell yeah. I mean, there was amazing edits. Will having power, the edits where he gets powers. Oh my god! So cool. I was so happy for Will. Like, I wanted to cry at that scene. And Byler unrelated. That scene at the Maxi battle is one of my favorite scenes in the whole show. It is, I'm sorry. It is. It's just so good. Like, the whole one-shot thing, there was some secret cuts there at some point, but like, it looked like a whole one shot. That's the coolest thing to me. I feel like a nerd about this kind of stuff, but like, that was so cool. And then Will getting powers is obviously so cool. The coolest thing ever. Like, ah! I rewatched that scene so many times. I love it. Amazing scene. Love the Byler. Okay, what am I even talking about anymore? See, this is what I'm saying. I'm not good at talking. I have ADHD. This is how I'm telling stories. Okay, continue. What am I continuing on? So yeah, the month of December was freaking awesome, bro. So freaking awesome, dude. Okay, things are blending together in my brain. I'm trying to remember, when did I get on Twitter? I think I got on Twitter after Volume 2 came out. I think so. Yeah. Freak. No. Yes. So, I had made a Byler friend online. Shout out to you, Byler friend. You know who you are. Love you. I made a friend who also shipped Byler, and that is who I talked to throughout the most of the month of December. She kept me alive. We were both going crazy, and we kept each other alive. We might have fed each other's delusions a little bit, but like, I truly believe, still after all of this happened, that Byler was queer bait. I'm sorry. If you take just the show, no outsider information, just the show, maybe then it's debatable. But what's queer bait to me was how I think even the actors didn't know that it wasn't going to happen at some point, because there's so many things that people were saying that it was like, why would you say this if they don't end up together? Why would you do this if they don't end up together? Like, there's a lot of things. And Sean Levy, I think, sorry. People are mad at Sean Levy, and I don't blame them, but I don't think you should send death threats to anyone, There's a lot of those going around. Anyways, but I think for me the biggest thing was he posted on his story just the picture of Mike and then the picture of Will. When there was a picture, the promo pictures, there was a picture of every character, but he only reshared those two, and he would also share the Byler emojis, the heart blue and yellow. He would do a lot of that. And he could just be a fan of Byler, in his free time. Maybe he's just a shipper like us. But you would think that's a person who's also directing the show sometimes, a few episodes, that if he's doing all that, it's not for fun, right? It must be because it's happening, right? I don't know. I think they were baiting us. I think they took advantage of the fandom of Byler, because the fandom of Byler was big, and it just got bigger after volume 1, by the way. I think it's probably the biggest fandom in Stranger Things. Fandom. Specifically Byler shippers. Could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But they're very big fandom, very powerful. Very powerful. I guess the Stranger Things fandom as a whole is the biggest fandom, because they are the fandom. But if you take the sub-fandoms within the fandom, Byler, I think they're the biggest ones. Okay. I mean, Lizzo shipped Byler. She made a TikTok. She said Byler Endgame. Everybody shipped Byler. Okay, not everybody, but most people. My sister and her fiance, even they did not ship Byler. They didn't know it was a thing. until I mentioned it to them. And it was kind of a humiliation ritual, telling that to them, because I was really passionate and they were definitely judging me on the inside. And that's okay. You know, we judge, we're humans, it's okay. But yeah, it was a little bit of a humiliation ritual because when I was telling them, I could see that they were like, okay. But then I ended up sending them like a few TikToks proving these theories and whatever. Well, not proving, because we technically didn't have proof until the very final episode. But, you know, these theories and people talking about it, blah, blah, blah. And they started to see it. They're like, oh, okay, maybe, I guess, it might happen. So I was like, okay, see, even they, normal GA people, think that it's a possibility, I can't be crazy. We can't be that crazy, right? Like it wasn't just an out of nowhere theory. Like there was hints to it. It was crazy. And I don't ship ships that are not canon. I can't handle that. I can't handle that. My heart can't handle that. I don't like to do that. I like to watch romance shows where I know these two people are the ones that are going to end up together. Like I cannot ship ships that are ambiguous or you just don't know. Like, not for me. But that's the thing. I was so sure Byler was gonna happen. I was like, oh, I don't have to worry about that. It's gonna be canon. It's gonna happen, right? Yeah. So, spoiler alert if you don't know, they didn't happen. But we'll get to that later. Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot. Where was I even at? See, I can't be doing this, bro. Where was I at? I'm going to topic to... How do I circle back to where I was if I don't remember where I was? God damn it, let's just continue from the whole month. The whole month was amazing, we know that. I guess we can skip now to the night of Christmas Day. Okay, now let me tell you my experience of Christmas Day. We personally, my family, opened the Christmas gifts, on the 24th at night. We've always done that. It's just what we do. So thank God for that. Because it would have been a lot to handle if I also had Stranger Things to watch throughout that day. Like, no. So the night of the 25, we didn't have anything crazy that day. So we were good. When 9 p.m. came, that's the time that it came out for us, I was in my room. My family wanted to watch it together. I was like, I can't do that, guys. I can't do that. No, I can't do that. I had to watch it alone because I was going to go crazy. I knew I was going to go crazy. I was going to have heart palpitation. I was going to get a little stressed out. I was going to get a little stressed out, and I was like, I can't be doing that when there's people next to me because I'm going to get judged, and I don't blame them. I would judge me too. Okay, it's a lot to handle. So I know my limits, okay? So I will stay in my room with the door locked, watching it on my computer. So that's what I did. I was locked up in my room at the night of December 25, 9 p.m. Throughout that day, too, I was trying to stay off socials because people were, like, tweaking a little bit. They were stressed out. I think Byler fans were experiencing this stress. I think the average person was just, like, oh, happy it comes out. That's how my family was. They watched it as well the same day, but without me. I wasn't there. I was in my room locked up. I was just stressed out. That day I remember I blacked out a little bit. It was so traumatic that I blacked out a little bit. So I was like, okay. People were convinced that we were going to have Byler proof in this volume 2 or Byler itself. A Byler kiss, blah, blah, blah. Like, people were so sure. Spoiler alert, we did not get that. Yeah. Byler unrelated. When watching volume 2, something felt weird for me. And yeah, probably a big part of that was Byler being weird. Like, Mike and Will were weird to each other. I was like, what happened? Like, Mike wasn't touching Will at all, even when bro got flung, like, across the sky. I was like, what is this behavior? And then Will was, like, fucking in a coma for half the episode, like, or most of the episode. It just felt really weird. It didn't feel like Stranger Things, But yeah, adding Byler on top of that, I was so stressed out, dude. I was grabbing my hair, like, what's going on? What's happening? Like, what? Do they know they have 30 minutes? 30 minutes? Yeah, and those last 20 minutes of episode 7, right? Because there's 3 episodes that that day on the 25th. The last episode, Will comes out, obviously. I was bawling my eyes out. Oh, no. I have something to say before that. When in that scene, you just have Will talking to Joyce, and it obviously looks like, okay, he's about to come out to his mom. Mike walks in, and I'm like, oh, no. Are we doing what I think we're doing? And I had to press pause at that moment, too, because my sister, she knew not to disturb me. But she decided to clock. She decided that was a perfect time to knock at my door. She's like, hey. I think she was asking me if I wanted to go watch the last episode with them or something. I was like, guys, no. I'm, like, almost done. But you knocked at the worst time possible. So I was waiting. I was paused and waiting because I could hear people making noise in, like, the kitchen or whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna wait for them to head downstairs. And everything has calmed down because I had to be locked in for this. So I was waiting here for, like, 15 minutes, okay? I was paused at Mike walking in. I was like, okay, 2 things can happen here. I was like, either Will's gonna say, like, you need to hear this too, Mike, like, stay here with us. Or Will's gonna be like, oh, let me just tell my mom something real quick. You can leave. And, like, Mike was gonna leave, but, like, stay behind and hear or something. That's what I thought was gonna happen. So fast forward 10 minutes. Everything's quiet in the house. I lock in again with my AirPods. Play. I'm like, okay, what's happening? Actually, I went back a little bit because I was like, I have to be in the scene. I was like, not in the scene. I was disturbed. I was distracted. Had to pause. So I go back a little bit, rewatch it. Okay, Mike walks in. I'm like, okay, what's happening? What's happening here? Will stands up. Oh, okay. He's like, Mike, yes. I think you need to hear this. Oh, yeah. Yes. Everyone does. Everyone? Oh, okay. Sure. Yes. Okay. Of course. Yes. Let them in. So, cuts to everyone being there. And by everyone, they mean everyone. Yes. Everyone is there. I was a little weirded out by that. This was my opinion before looking at everyone. I'm getting too excited. This was my opinion before looking at what everyone else had to say, right? Right. So, I'm like, okay. He's really about to do that to every single person here? Golly is there? Hopper? Okay. Who else? Like, there was people in there that, like, just didn't make sense why they would be there. Like, they don't, whatever. Okay? Whatever. And I didn't question it too much, because it was an emotional scene. I was getting ready to fucking cry. I knew I was gonna cry. Oh, Lord have mercy. So he starts yapping away, and he's like, okay, I have to tell you this thing, blah, 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 blah. I don't have the scene memorized, but, it was quite long. And when he goes into, like, telling everybody examples, like, I'm just like you, like, we like to do this thing, and we like to do this together, and we do this, like, we're literally the same, we're, like, the same. That part made me cry so much, because I was like, ah! I related to that a lot. You just, being different is scary sometimes, and you're not that different. We're really the same, and you want them to understand, like, we're the same. It's just there's this thing, and I just got that. It felt deep. I think a lot of people probably felt the same way. So I was like, yeah, I was crying. I wasn't even looking at the screen that much, and I was crying. But when I looked up and I saw, like, the camera was focusing on Mike a lot, I was like, ooh. Oh, and yeah, of course, I almost forgot this major part, which, again, my brain probably tried to forget it because it was traumatic. Will saying, well, he didn't say Mike straight up, but he insinuated that Mike is just his Tammy. Yeah, about that, bud, about that. No. Okay, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But anyways, when I was watching it, I didn't focus on that too much. I was kind of just like, oh, but I'm still crying. I was crying because it was an emotional scene, and then I was crying because I was like, shit, does that mean Byler's not happening, bro? So I was, like, stressed out. I was kind of in disbelief at the end of this, volume. I was just like, oh, So yeah, I kind of blacked out for a lot of the rest of the episode. So my initial thoughts basically was just like, this is emotional. This is really sad. And yeah. Anyways, so I did find it weird there was a lot of people. But that's about all of my own thoughts. That night, obviously I'm devastated. My byler friend is also devastated, but she didn't talk to me that much because she was having a moment, and I understand. We didn't talk that much that night, but because of that, because I didn't have anybody to yap to, I was like, I need to go on Twitter right now. I need to know what the masses are saying. I need to know. So I get Twitter. I download it, log into an old account, because I literally don't use Twitter. It's an evil place. I'm scared of Twitter. But I log into Twitter. I look up like Stranger Things byler, and I'm following all these people, and I'm like, okay, I'm into the community now. I'm ingrained. And I think it was that night, they were making a Twitter space. And so the byler fans, at least some, I think they're the most influential people in the byler community. That is what happened along this week. That week after the 25, they were kind of like the byler gods out there, and on Twitter at least. That's how it felt. You guys may know, if you're a byler fan, you might know Jess on Twitter. I think her @ is 67gate. Yeah, a genius. Truly a great, awesome fan. Love her. And I think she was the one making those Twitter spaces in the beginning. Along with like other people, but yeah, there was a lot of people in there, and I don't remember. See, I blacked out a little bit. I don't remember if people were in disbelief or if people were upset. They were definitely upset, that's for sure. But I mean, like, I don't know if they had byler doubt. I think they did. I think most people after Volume 2 had byler doubt. Yes. Okay, I'm remembering. I logged on Twitter and everybody was saying, like, it's so over. So it was queer bait. So, okay, so what happened? Like, so it was a nothing burger. Like, everybody was like, okay, it's over. That's what the initial reaction to most people was. There was a few people, every once in a while that was like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm dying with this ship. It's not over until it's over. Like, there was a few of those, but most people were saying, like, oh, it's over. And that is how I felt too. After Volume 2, I was like, yes, not happening. But yeah, so in those Twitter spaces, people were making theories, and they started with this theory. I don't know if the name for it, because this isn't Conformity Gate. Conformity Gate happened after the final. After the last episode of this show, people were like, it's not over. It's not over, nah. Conformity Gate. Anyways, but this isn't about Conformity Gate, not yet. This is about, I think it's just, I don't know the name for it, but basically the audience is getting Vecna'd. And it took time, I think. It took a few days before we came to this theory, maybe 1 or 2 days, people were building off it, and it was getting bigger and bigger. It did not get to the size of Conformity Gate, but the We Are Getting Vecna theory was quite big. I think a few of the GA even got into this theory because not only byler fans were disappointed after this Volume 2, there was the homophobes that were mad too because of the coming out scene, but we're not talking about those people. Even just GA people were like, this Volume 2 felt off. I think even my parents told me, like, they watched it a few days later and they were like, it felt like nothing really happened in Volume 2. I was like, yeah, that's a lot of the complaints people have. It was like a whole lot of nothing. Okay, the scene that was really cool when Will saved Max and by going into Vecna's brain, awesome. The best part of the whole show, by the way, Jamie something Campbell or something, his name Jamie Bauer, is that you know who I'm, Vecna, the actor for Vecna, amazing actor. He's the only thing in the show that I was watching and I was like, this is peak. This guy is peak. He is threatening. When he was running towards Max and Holly, oh my god, there's so many times I was just like, I'm scared of this guy. He's freaking scary. I love him. Anyways, so yeah, a lot of the people were disappointed. What was my point? Why was I saying that? Great question. I don't know. But yeah, okay, I don't know. I don't know why I was saying that people were mad. But yeah, people were disappointed with Volume 2, so yeah, the theory of Vecna, we were getting Vecna, made sense. And it would have been so cool. I still think it would have been an awesome way to end the show if you know, get your own audience in on the whole getting Vecna thing. Like, it would have been so cool. But yeah, there's many reasons why people came up with this theory. One of my favorite reasons, or proof, was when Robin turns the valve, or I think the first time the valve gets turned in the shed, someone else does it, I forget, but anyways, the arrow on that valve thingy is blue in the beginning. Next time, it's red for some reason. That has to mean something, right? Why would they change that? I thought about the fact maybe it got broken and they like fixed it and they didn't realize it was a different color. I was like, what? They would realize though that it's a different color. I mean, these are professional people out here. Like, this is professional work. Like, this is what they do for a living. Of course they would realize. I guess they didn't realize. I don't know. Still find that weird today. Not sure why that changed color, but there's a few things like this. There also the fact that the Duffers said that, don't quote me on this because I heard someone say this, so I don't know how true it is. But someone was saying in the Twitter space, like, the Duffers said to watch Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, I think it's called, with Jim Carrey. They told people to watch that movie before going into Stranger Things Season 5. So again, don't quote me on this because it could be wrong. But why would they say that, by the way? Why? Because I did fall victim to that. I watched the movie because I had never seen it before. So I mean, it was a good movie, so I'm not mad. But like, why would we need to watch this like meta movie for the Stranger Things? Huh? There's some suspicious things going on, by the way, with this Stranger Things Season 5. Genuinely, because there's just too much people saying things, like the actors, the Duffers, people who worked on the show, saying things that just don't add up. There's too many things not adding up. I don't know if y'all have seen this, but the actor of Max's mom, the actress of Max's mom, she was like saying how she was supposed to be in one of the episodes and she was cut out and she didn't know, or something like that. Like, there's a lot of things that are suspicious that doesn't make sense, but here we are. There's some suspicious stuff going on there, for sure. But yeah, okay. Anyway, so people are building this theory that we're getting Vecna, and there's a few other theories as well. But the one that I was like, oh yeah, is happening, the one I believed in, was we're getting Vecna. So throughout that week, from the 25 Christmas Day to New Year's Eve, it's just a bunch of people creating theories and building off each other, and it was amazing to witness. That was my first time going on Twitter in years, and it was just such an amazing community, and people were making such smart theories. I was like, oh my god, these people are geniuses. It was just so fun, and it will always be fun no matter what happened with this final. It was a very, very, very fun thing to be a part of. And it was so sweet, the community that people build together, the Byler fans specifically. They're so nice. Like, everybody was just so nice to each other. There is fandom wars between, like, Malevolent fans and Bylers, but, like, whatever. Ignoring that, I'm talking about, like, the fans themselves. Like, the community of Byler fans and the theories that they made was so awesome, lovely. I'm a part of some Discord servers now that I love. The people are awesome. Another thing that happened after Volume 2, which was kind of hilarious. Okay, I'm sorry. It's a little funny. But people were going a little crazy on Twitter. Like, yes, there was the little big community of people, like, building theories, whatever. But there's also people that were just started freely shipping FOA now. If you don't know what that is, that's the actor of Mike and Will, Noah, and Finn. People were just shipping the real actors now. They're like, oh, so all along it was just them? It was not Byler, it was always them? And it was funny. People have always shipped the actors, but it's kind of a frowned upon thing to ship actors, which I can understand. So people were not really loud with their ship, their real people ship. It was kind of a no-no in the community. But after Volume 2, people did not care anymore. people didn't care anymore, and even the Byler fans that were against shipping that ship, even they were like, you know what, I don't care anymore. Like, people were so mad, the rules got broken. No one cared. It was kind of funny to see that. But yes, that's just another thing. But okay, so continuing back on track. So up until the 31st, it was just a whole lot of, okay, I believe again. Not the word I believe. I have PTSD for that word too, because they kept using this after the final, and it was really confusing. Anyways, hold on. I gotta backtrack. I gotta lock in. Leading up to the 31st, I talked with my friend more, and we were both very scarred from Volume 2. We were like, yeah, I can't handle getting my heart broken again, because we were heartbroken because of Byler not happening, right? Everyone was so convinced it was happening at Volume 2, and it didn't, so we were like, well, me and my friend ended up believing again. We were like, you know what? Let's die with this ship. But I genuinely, towards the end, like, towards the 30th, like, I fully believed again. I was like, yeah, we're so getting Vecnas, it's crazy, it's obvious. Like, it's happening. I was very confident going into this final. And it's also because I was like, I knew there was a big chance that it wouldn't happen, but I was like, why not just fully believe? It's so fun. Let's go into it one last time, cry one last time, right? Oh, I had to drink that day, by the way. Going into the final, I was like, I'm drinking. I can't go in there sober. There's too much to handle. So anyways, I think I've said everything I need to say before the final. So the final happens. It's on New Year's Eve. Some people are in the theaters, because it was shown in the theaters on the 31st and the 1st. But I wasn't in the theaters. Thank God I didn't go in the theaters. I wanted to. I could have. But I was like, no. The reason I didn't go was because, like, I wanted to go with my parents and my sister, and, like, it wasn't working out. So, yeah, it just didn't work out. Thank God it didn't. Divine intervention. That was divine intervention. Because I would have actually been in the theater absolutely tweaking out. I would be stressed already because there's a bunch of people. There would probably be so many people in there. And then I would just have to witness Byler not being canon in theaters with everyone around. No. It could have been a fun experience, but I don't know about that. Maybe not for me. I was at home on the 31st, locked in my room again at 9 p.m. Or did it? Was it 9 p.m.? Yeah, I think it was the same time for me. So, okay. Locked in there. I'm talking to my friend a few hours before it's happening. I was like, I can't believe we're going to witness Byler. Like, it's gonna be so awesome. Let's go. Like, just a whole bunch of things like that. I had a countdown on my computer, counting down the, like, last hour until the final. I was like, this is so awesome. This is so epic. Core moment happening right now. Core moment. I was so excited, okay? It's 9 p.m. The final starts. I was like, let's freaking go, dude. I have my AirPods unlocked and I'm sitting down. I'm watching the show. And already, I knew going into the final, it was supposed to be, like, more epic than any other show, than any other episode in the series. Because it was supposed to be, like, a movie, like, it was going to be cool. So I was like, I had high expectations for that, too. Not just Byler. Like, I was expecting something crazy. And there was some cool things. Let me just first say the things that I thought was really cool. When Hopper shot Elle, I was like, oh! I knew she probably wasn't dead for realness because he was literally, like, talking to Vecna. But, like, I was like, what's happening here? That was, like, I did not expect that to happen. It was really cool. Caught me off guard. You know, I like that. I like when shows catch me off guard. You know, give me more of that. And I thought we would get more stuff like that in this final, but, you know. Anyways, so, yes. Oh my god, I forgot to mention one thing. Guys, can I backtrack real quick? Is that allowed? In Volume 2, another part I was crying in during Volume 2 was when Nancy and Jonathan were in that slime room. By the way, did we ever find out what the hell that slime was about? It was just for fun? Like, they thought that was cool, I guess? Okay. Like, I don't know what that's about. But I don't think you need, I realized something after all this. You should not ask too many questions about this show because there is no answer, probably. So, Yes. Anyways, they were in that slimy room and they were talking to each other, and they had been on a rough patch. I was like, damn. They need to talk it out. And they were talking it out and they were being honest with each other. I was like, oh my god, this is so cute, I'm crying. And then Jonathan pulls out the ring and I was like, oh my god, oh my god. And he says, can I unmarry you or not marry you, I think he says. And I was like, oh, so they're like, he realizes that like getting married isn't the solution, so they're like not getting married. But he wanted to be honest that he did plan that, but he's like, let's not, right? But they're still together, right? Yes, of course. Why would they do that? So yeah, and then they throw the ring. So I was like, okay, it signifies that they're not getting married, but they're hugging and they're saying, I love you. So I was like, they're still together. That's what I thought. I just thought they had a cute moment, being honest and real, and they, finally were honest to each other, and they were still dating, right? When I hop on Twitter later that day and I find out that they broke up, I was like, what? I was like, what? Oh, I thought, was it just me who was stupid and I wasn't understanding the subtle message they were trying to, send? But most people didn't get that either. At least that's what it looked like on the internet. People were like, what? They broke up? What? And they themselves, the Duffers, had to clarify, like, yeah, they broke up in an interview. I was like, okay. Right. Yes, of course. So that's just one other thing I wanted to mention, so. Because that's another crazy thing to do. Because I loved Jancy, bro. Anyways. Rip. So, we're back at the final. Hopper shot Elle. Oh my god! But he didn't for real. Gotcha. That was a really cool thing that caught me off guard. I was like, whoa, that was awesome. Loki wish he had actually killed her. There. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe that's a little cruel. But give me some drama. Give me something crazy. A plot twist that we don't expect. That's what I wanted going into this final. That's why I truly believed we were going to get Vecna'd, the audience ourselves. Anyways, that obviously didn't kill her, which I didn't want Elle to die, okay? But I knew she would probably die. I just feel like it had to happen. And that's a controversial take because I know a lot of people don't agree with that. And I do think it's weird how they did it, by the way. I'm not happy about how it happened. I thought if she were to die, it would be in like accident sort of way, not in a she's killing herself type of way. That felt a little bit intense. And the fact that they were toying with the idea of like, might kill myself is a little crazy. Anyways. So yeah. I thought, like she has to die. I feel like it would make sense because the story started with her, and I know she was just mistreated the whole time, but like I thought they were going to kill her because it would be sad, and that's what shows do. They kill people and make you cry, right? So yeah, I thought she was gonna die. Who else did I think was gonna die? I just thought more people would die, but no one died except her and Kali, which is crazy to bring back Kali from season 2 just to kill her, by the way. It's kind of insane. It's kind of insane. And people are saying, like, Elle might not be dead. She might be, somewhere. Which they technically, if they wanted to continue the show, they could very well be like, nah, she wasn't dead all along. They could do that because it's kind of, they could explain it with like, oh, she ran away or she did this thing. But it's clear. Is there a spider, bro? My cats keep meowing at the ceiling. I don't like that. What am I even saying? This is getting a little bit, this is getting a little crazy. I need to hurry up. Okay, there is a fly on the wall. That is what they are meowing at. So, I don't think you guys can hear that anyways. I'll let them have their fun. Things I actually like about the final. The part where Bro shot Elle was crazy. The part where Max, Kali, and Elle are in Vecna's brain, and there's like this cool music, and there's like a theater act going on, whatever that was. That little bit was cool. I thought that was cool. The monster scene, the giant monster at the end, I know it looked bad in some senses, but there was a cool shot that was when I think it looked like they would look Elle was literally like girl. Elle was literally like a little ant in the distance, and it looked the camera was like looking at her, and then it like goes to the monster. very specific, but that specific shot from Elle to the monster, I thought it was really cool. I have it in my head, ingrained forever. I thought it was really cool. What else? Oh, something. I think that's all that I found that I liked about the final. Like, I'm genuinely trying to think. I mean, yeah, that's the only thing that comes up at the top of my head. So I guess it's the most memorable things for me. What I didn't like was the no thanks. Best friends. Yeah. No, that was rage bait for sure. They knew what they were doing with that one. And the fact that we found out later that scene would have never existed if Noah himself, the actor of Will, didn't ask the Duffers. Like, Noah mentions in an interview, like, he stepped out of his place or whatever to ask the Duffers, and he was scared. He said he was scared to ask. But he wanted their Mike and Will's story to have closure, I guess. Because if not, it would literally not have. What the hell? I think the Duffers were like, okay, yeah, sure, we'll write something for you. Hey, how about this? No thanks, best friends? Okay, bro. Okay, they wanted to rage bait with that one. They're just mad, bro. They're mad people. I think they're mad. Something suspicious happened, okay, and I don't know what it is. Something suspicious happened of that filming of season 5, okay? Behind the scenes, things got cut. I don't know if it's the Duffer's fault, whose fault it is, but something suspicious happened. And that's all I know. Okay? But whoever wrote that no thanks, best friends, whoever that was, they were rage baiting. They wanted people to be like, oh. And that is what happened. There are a few clips on TikToks of like people's reaction in the theaters to that, and people were like, oh, and like laughing. Yeah, it was ridiculous, bro. That's something I didn't like. When I was reacting to that was quite early in the final, actually. When I was reacting to that and I saw that, I still didn't think, oh, bylers not happening, which you might think that's crazy. But it's because I thought if the theory that we were getting Vecnud is true, this what we're seeing right now might change later. It might be not real or something, right? So I was still thinking about that. At the point where I started to think like, oh, it's not happening, is when it cuts to the epilogue. And like the epilogue just keeps going. It keeps going. I'm like, hold on here. Like, there's no way they pull off a crazy plot twist 20 minutes when there's just 20 minutes left in like the whole final. So I was like, okay. So watching this epilogue, I was just like this. Right. Oh. Okay. Right. Yeah. I really wanted to like skip through because it felt like certain things dragged on a little bit, and I'm sorry. I love Joyce and Hopper. I really love them. Like, I shipped them hard in season 3 and the previous seasons too. Like, I love them. But like, I don't know, there was something boring about their scene. There was something boring about their proposal scene. And maybe I'm just a hater or I was just mad in the moment. But I don't know, I was like, okay, like, what's happening, bro? Can we just finish this? And no, the epilogue dragged on a little bit. And yeah, maybe that makes me a hater because I don't know, like, I felt bored. And one thing I did notice, okay, before Conformity Gate happened, I noticed that when the graduation scene happens and you see Mike running up to his mom and hugging her, and okay, imagine this. Well, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Mike is hugging his mom, and it's like they are like on the right of this shot, and then the left is like the, what do you call that? The seats with people. Like, there's a word for those types of seats. I forget. Sorry. But there's people in that audience, and they're just like, they look so weird. They look like fake people. They were like looking just weird. They looked not natural. And I was like, okay, that's really weird. But I didn't think it was going to mean anything because it was kind of too late into the episode. I was like, we're not getting Vecna. Nothing's happening. But I did find that really weird, and I didn't understand why. I was like, is there a reason for this? Sorry. But I don't know. I did find that people were acting weird in that graduation scene, like unnatural. And that is something that people pointed out later on when Conformity Gate was created. But yeah, anyway, so that is something that I found weird. The final, and yeah, so after this final, I wasn't as heartbroken as I was after Volume 2, but the same cannot be said for the rest of the community, because obviously after this final, I'm going to log on to Twitter Space, because I knew the people were going to be tweaking out in there. Tweaking out they were. Oh my god. I feel bad for laughing because I understand, but people were crying in there. Some people were crying in there like they just lost their parents, like they just lost a loved one. It was like I feel bad, but it was a little bit funny. Just a little bit funny, okay? A little bit. I was like, damn, bro. After hearing everyone like tweaking out like that, I was like, okay, I have to calm down. Like I was feeling motherly. I was like, okay, I have to take care of these people that I don't know. I'm feeling parasocial. I was like, okay, I have to lock in. So I didn't feel too sad anymore because I was just like, oh, damn. But anyways, after people were like tweaking out, it kind of calmed down. Everybody was, laughing together, making jokes, and trying to cope with this loss. Because it was a loss. It did feel like it a little bit. Maybe not to that level of, sobbing, but it was a little bit sad. My heart did feel empty. Yes, it did. And so, yes, people were, making jokes in the Twitter space and talking, and I was there. I was there when Conformity Gate was created by Jess, that I mentioned earlier, at 67Gate on Twitter. Her and a few other people were all like feeding off each other, but I think she's the one who like started it all. I was there. I was there, not to brag, but I was there. And yeah, I was like, damn, it is true, because I had myself noticed how the people in the audience were acting weird-ish, not natural-ish. So these things they were pointing out was making sense to me, because that was something I had noticed myself. So I was like, okay, wait, I'm believing this, and the theory just like built from there. Not just that night, but even the rest of this week, because people were convinced that we were gonna get something else, I think on the 7 days after, or something like that. So anyways, throughout that week, I was just like, I wasn't fully committed like I was with believing in Byler. At this point, it wasn't about Byler anymore. That's what's crazy about Conformity Gate, is that it literally reached the masses. It reached the GA. It reached so many more people. That shows that like most people were not satisfied with this ending. It felt bleak. It felt like something was missing. So this theory really made sense. It really made sense, and it would have been really cool if it was true. I did believe in it a lot. I believed in it, not fully, but I didn't let myself believe it fully, but I was consuming all the content and all the theories, and I knew everything, all those theories. I was aware, but I didn't know if I believed. But anyways, obviously the 7th happened, nothing happened, but Netflix was definitely riding that train and doing these weird TikTok descriptions, or like they were doing this on purpose. They had little cryptic messages everywhere. That was so weird. Jamie Campbell, when he went on the Jimmy Fallon show, and he had this promo video on TikTok where he was like doing a like 80s dance like training session, whatever, and he says like weird cryptic things in the Vecna voice. He was like, it begins tomorrow, and tomorrow would have been the 7th. It was so weird. I was like, why are you doing that? And people were saying like, oh, it's just for his Quinn or whatever they call it thing, which I don't even know what that is, by the way. I don't know. If you want to let me know what that is, let me know. I have no idea what that is. But he was be a part of this show or whatever it is. I don't know what it is, again. But apparently he was doing the whole cryptic stuff just for that. I was like, nah, bro. They were trying to milk this thing on purpose, because people would not have been clinging into, like, people would not have stayed in the fandom for so long. People were interacting with all of Netflix posts on Stranger Things, and like it was obviously giving Netflix and Stranger Things social media accounts, more numbers because of this whole theory that was going on, and that makes sense. So obviously they milked it until the very last second. And then from then on, there might still be theories going on in the fandom as we speak, but I have left it a little bit. I was like, I can't handle this anymore. It is interesting and it's really fun. It was a fun experience to be a part of. It truly was. And the community that people built is awesome to see. And it's the people yearn for community. And it was great to see. A lot of people were saying how in this Twitter space how everyone in this space was like, I've never had this much fun in a fandom before. Like, it was a mutual thing for everyone. We're all like, this is freaking epic. And it was a beautiful thing, even if Stranger Things the final ended up being quite bleak, a nothing burger, if you will. It doesn't matter because it was about the friends we made along the way, as they say. Everybody keeps saying that, but it was true. It is true. And as much as the final disappointed me, I sometimes think, like, if I had never become a Byler fan the day before this volume 1 came out, if I was never a Bylers fan, would I have enjoyed the Stranger Things season 5 final more? I always think that. I think, yes, maybe in some senses, because I would not have had this stress on me. I'm telling you, watching volume 2, I had heart palpitations throughout the whole thing. Like, I was always, like, my heart, there was not a point where I was chill. And it was a little bit annoying. I was stressed out, and I know that's not normal, okay? You don't have to tell me, I already know that. I know I have issues, it's okay. I love things, and I'm very invested in things passionately, okay? And that was one of them. I'm allowed, okay? There are pros and cons to being a fangirl. And this is one of the cons, but yeah. It was fun, okay? It was fun. And despite Stranger Things being bleak, I think I would not have fully enjoyed it either if I wasn't a Byler fan, because I have friends who were not Byler fans, and people who just like the show normally were also disappointed with this ending. So I think I would have also just kind of been like, meh. But yeah, at the end of the day, I will always love Stranger Things. It will always have a special place in my heart. And, you know, Byler may not be canon, but they're technically ambiguous, okay? We got ambiguous Byler, and I'll take that. Yeah. It's a great show. The final did not deliver what we needed, but it's okay. It shouldn't erase the rest of what the show was. You know what I mean? We can pretend it doesn't exist, or we can just not let it be a big deal. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, season 5, yeah, whatever. I don't care about her. There were some great parts of it, of course, but again, that's what happens when the Duffers said it themselves, like, if they don't nail the landing, people completely forget about everything else in the show. It doesn't matter anymore. I was like, yeah, well, yeah. But that's why I'm trying to not do that. You know, I still love the show. I have my little Will Getting Powers Funko Pop here that I love so much. It's so cool. And I don't want to be like a hater and like be like, I'm going to throw away all of my Stranger Things merch. Like, I can't. I'm not going to do that. I love the show. I always will. Even if the ending was okay? I'm sorry. But yeah, that's my story of experiencing the mass Byler psychosis and the Stranger Things fandom experience throughout those days. As someone who wasn't even the fandom for that long, I was in deep. I can't imagine how people, like my friend who I said I made, my Byler friend, she has been in the fandom for years, for like 3 years or something. She was hardcore into this fandom. And I was like, I cannot imagine how it must feel for someone who's been a hardcore Byler fans for that long to have to deal with this. I'm lucky that I was not a fan for that long. I was a fan, but an invested, hardcore fan deep into the fandom. Like, I think it was divine intervention for me, because I don't know if I would have been able to survive that. You know, I don't think I'm someone who would be capable of surviving that. You guys are strong out there. You guys are strong soldiers. And bless your heart. Anyways, I guess I'll just end it here. Thank you for listening. Let me know your experience in the comments. If you're watching and you are a Byler fan and have experienced all of this, let me know your POV, okay? Tell me about you. I will listen and I will read. Thank you guys for watching. Okay, bye.